And right next to the Utilita Arena is the brown site land, 4th yards, the old Calder site, the lead works from decades ago. And as you can see, there's some sort of activity going on the land. So I'm going to pop in, see if I can speak to somebody, find out what they're doing. Oh my word, you do not want to miss this, and you'll have to wait until a little bit later on in the video to find out what happened when I went inside the Calder site. So this video is video number 5 in my stadium expansion stroke relocation series, and this video is about the arena site. Now if in capital letters Newcastle United owners decided that the most feasible thing to do is to build a brand new stadium somewhere else in the city centre, one of the overwhelming favourite spots is down by the Utilita Arena, down by the River Tyne. Now, there are a couple of main assumptions about this, primarily led by an article by Luke Edwards on the 1st of March in the Telegraph. You have to read it. And 2 inferences that have been drawn from that article is that, one, that the owners are considering or looking into that area of land if they had to relocate, and secondly, that the brown site land next to the arena is big enough to build a new stadium. Neither of which are true. If you're somebody who is not interested in facts or evidence, you need to turn this video off, crack on with your day and believe whatever you want to believe. But if you're somebody out there who really wants to learn and understand about that whole area, because I'm going to dispel some other myths too, you really need to hang around and watch this video all the way through and all the way to the very end, because you're not going to be disappointed. So anyway, follow me down to the Utilita Arena site, which is about just over half a mile in that direction. Well, here I am, and thanks for following me down here. First of all, I have to get right off the bat, I take absolutely no pleasure in knocking the wind out of anybody's sails who's watching this video. I know a lot of you Newcastle fans have got your hopes pinned on this area for Newcastle at some point in the future building a brand new stadium. So I'm forewarning you that you're going to be a little bit disappointed, and that's not because I'm going to try and shout my opinion louder than anybody else's opinion. In this video, I'm going to present to you facts and evidence, because that's what I've found. So for those who aren't familiar with this area, this whole area behind me, it's roughly split into 3 distinct and independent areas, each with their own different landowners, which makes things a little bit more complicated. First of all, you've got the arena site behind me here. It's been here a few years with a car park behind. To my right here, you've got a brown site area. This is used to call part of 4th yards. This is the old Calder site. It was a lead works factory down to the river, going right down to the River Tyne from decades ago. This land now has been recently bought by Homes England, a government housing and regeneration agency whose mission it is to build about 1,100 homes on that particular land. We'll come back to that shortly in the video. And behind that, further west, there's another quite a big plot of land which is a fully operational and independent heliport. It's the UK's biggest heliport, based here in Newcastle, and it's owned privately by a guy called Martin. We'll come back to that shortly as well. So one of the common themes amongst Newcastle fans, those who are particularly interested in this area, is Newcastle United will buy back the land, meaning the brown site land where they've tried to build houses, or they'll knock down the arena, or some version or combination of that, and Newcastle United will build this super duper 70,000-80,000 seater stadium down here. First of all, can a stadium fit down here? Particularly, can a stadium fit purely on the brown site land, the Homes England land that's just been bought? Well, we can find out by measuring it on Google's mapping software on our computers, and I've done just that. If you follow me here on the computer, and I'm going to use Spurs Stadium by way of an example to get the rough perimeter dimensions of a stadium. Now their stadium's only 62,000, so potentially a little bit smaller than what Newcastle might build. But if we get our mapping tool out there, measure the width, which is about 215 metres or so, don't take these figures to be absolutely precise, but within a couple of metres they're right, and from north to south along the length, it's about 255 metres or so. Then if we come onto the map of the land that we're at now by the arena, and then put those figures onto that map, the width and the length, and draw a box, we can see that absolutely no way, there's not a cat and hell's chance that a modern day stadium is going to fit in its entirety on the brown side land alone. It goes completely onto the arena site land, taking up almost the whole width of this whole bit of land. Now, that doesn't include any peripheral facilities, or that's just the stadium dimension, so it doesn't include any public realms where fans can walk around the stadium, any sterile perimeter security areas. It doesn't include any upgrading to the current access and transport infrastructure. It doesn't include any car parks or even a little fan zone. So when you put those in, you can see that that whole chunk of land is absolutely gone. So when you see a photograph like this floating around on social media, don't take it seriously. It's almost meaningless. And if you go to the originator of where this photograph comes with the beautiful stadium and all the training facilities, they do state they're just for entertainment purposes. It shouldn't be taken literally. It's completely out of perspective and proportion, and you can see now that it has no basis in reality. Can Newcastle United build a stadium down here? First of all, going back to that Luke Edwards article in the Telegraph from the 1st of March, he makes no mention or claim that Newcastle United are currently looking at this area as a means to possibly build a stadium here. He's made some speculation and conjecture about the area, and even then he's got the area wrong if you look at the map that he's put in his article. So in order to understand a little bit more whether we can build a stadium here or not, we need to kind of drill into these three parcels of land and put it together. So first of all, the arena site here, many of you will know that there's currently undergoing a project to build a new arena on the Gated Quays in between the Sage and the Baltic, a 12,500 seater arena with a conference centre and a hotel. The arena was scheduled to be open next year, 2025. That's all fell way behind because of, in the main, financial difficulties. I've had to scrap the hotel altogether. The new arena scheduled to be open in 2027. There could be more slippage, you know how these things go. So this arena is going to be here till at least at some time in 2027. Now when the new one's open on the Friday, they're not going to be knocking this one down on the Monday. There's going to be a period of time where all sorts of planning goes on. You're probably looking at this arena being here until at least 2028. That has to be knocked down, flattened before anything can be done with it in terms of any new development. Then we have the heliport. Certainly when I spoke to Marty on the phone, I thought, what the hell, I'll just give him a ring, see if he'll speak to us. He sounded like an elderly gentleman, very well spoken. And when I started to mention about the project I'm doing with this particular video, he says, look, I'm aware that there's been rumours for a couple of years in terms of a stadium here. He says, this land is mine, the heliport. It's his business, it's been there for quite a while, that's not going anywhere. He said, I had a meeting with Homes England on Monday, just gone. He said, I can categorically state there is going to be no stadium on this land. Just telling you what he said. So the last parcel of land obviously is the land that's just been bought by Homes England, and that's only just a few weeks ago. Now, it leads to the obvious conclusion that if Newcastle had any genuine interest in this land at any point over the past couple of years, they had the opportunity to buy it, and they haven't. Now, for those of you who don't understand, Homes England are a government housing and regeneration agency. It's not Newcastle City Council, it's central government, and they were set up a few years ago because the UK has a housing crisis. We don't have enough homes, and Newcastle is no different. So what they do, they kind of intervene because they have more powers and flexibility and can work better with other agencies to get a grip of situations where particular areas might be labouring, because for the last 15 or 20 years there's been independent property developers trying to put houses on here, and it's all fell through because there are viability constraints here, there are access limitations, there are particular infrastructure requirements needed for this particular land. Peter Denton, the CEO of Homes England, has described this as a really complex area of land, 4th yards. He said, but Homes England are the ideal agency to get a grip of this. and it's their job to accelerate housing projects, to get houses in prime real estate areas like this, in city centre areas like this, to rejuvenate areas in the city centres, get more people houses, affordable homes, and to crack on. And on that note, this is what happened when I went inside the Calder site earlier. Hello mate, sorry to disturb you. I'm just doing some research into the land. Is the building going to be starting here shortly?
I'm not entirely sure, mate. There's a guy's on doing survey who's the land managing agent.
All right.
He's kicking about on the roundabout on the outside.
Oh, they're doing surveys now, are they?
Yeah. I'm not entirely sure.
All right.
I think it's just because of the way the building. I believe it was an old lead works or something.
That's
like
right.
that, I think so. But obviously because of, I think there was like part demolition that went on, and then sort of, I don't know, money ran out or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think everybody sort of scarped it off, which I kind of knew as much as I know about it, to be honest.
Because I've heard Homes England have bought the land.
Well, that's who we contractors for Homes England. So,
right.
And the land managing for Homes England, he's going around with a surveyor now. They're just surveying all the walls and stuff like that.
Right. So there you have it. It's already started. They're not going to be waiting several years and dragging their heels over this housing project. It's already started. The enabling work, the preparatory work is already ongoing. That is a huge, that's a deal breaker right there. You've got this arena, separate parcel of land with different landowners. That's going to be here for at least the next 4 years. The owner of the heliport has already on record has said that categorically there's going to be no new stadium there. And Newcastle United owners, certainly on any evidence, they've made absolutely no attempt to take any realistic look or consideration into this land. And just some additional information, when I spoke to Marty on the phone from the Newcastle heliport, he told me that there is no longer any contamination on this land and there are no drift mines underneath. Something that I thought there was, but there aren't, so there's no complications in that respect. Homes England can in effect now just crack on and build in those 1,100 homes that they've got planned for. At a guess, I fully expect this to be populated with those homes certainly in the next 2 to 3 years. Well, I'm sorry guys, but I think, adding all of these factors in together, because of the complexity of the situation, the homes that are being built, the 3 different landowners, the 3 different timescales, the private land of the heliport, as far as I'm concerned personally, this is an absolute dead conversation. It seems to me that Newcastle United owners are focused primarily on what they can do with St James's Park, and I still think there may be a possibility that they might look at building a new stadium in Castle Leazers, which just creeps into Leazers Park, the old Sir John Hall plan. And if you go back to the Luke Edwards article, he even messed that up. If you look at his map, he's confused. He thinks Leazers Terrace includes Castle Leazers. They're 2 different areas of land, and he thinks the 1990s plan was in the town moor. It's riddled with inaccuracies in that article. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you appreciate how much work and research I put into these things. I apologise again for taking the wind out of your sails, but these are the facts of the matter. If you enjoyed the video, found it informative, don't forget to give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell so you get a notification every time I release a new video. But I have an idea that if they rebuild St James's Park where it currently sits, what they might do, and it's quite exciting. That's going to be my next video.